Okay, we are recording, but we're now I'll give you a cue as soon as we are ready to begin editing. Start. Greetings, my name is Dar Roberts. I'm a professor in the Department of Geography, where I've been since 1994, and my specialty is remote sensing. This is a technology that is widely used in the fire community. There are a variety of ways it is used. One of the critical ways is to tell us something about the kinds of fuels across the landscape. We call that pre-fire fuels. It's also used to tell us something about the immediacy of fire danger, what would happen if a fire were to ignite. Would it spread widely? Would it be easy to put out? It tells us something about active fire properties, most critically the temperature of fires and where fires are burning. This is tied to emissions such as smoke. It's used to tell us something about severity. This is the ecological impact of a fire. And finally, it tells us something about post-fire recovery, what comes back after a fire is burned. And in this talk, I will only talk about the first bullet. So one of the critical things remote sensing tells us is what kind of fuels are across the landscape. And so fuels are the material that burns. And then for us, we live in a landscape composed mostly of shrublands, called hard chaparral, shown on the right, and soft chaparral, shown below. This is chamise and big pod ceanothus, and this is California sagebrush. And what we're showing here now is a map of the Santa Barbara area, and we can see up in the upper front range, the pink stuff is the chamise. The greener materials are the big pod ceanothus. So this tells us if a fire were to ignite, what might be burning. Another critical component is what we call fuel condition. This is a measure of the live to dead components. And in this case, the lower the ratio, the more dead components, the more dangerous the conditions. For this, we use a mixing model where we unmix a mixed pixel into measures of live material, dead material, and soil. In this case, red is non-photosynthetic vegetation or dead material. GV is green. This is the average conditions. So chaparral again shows up as slightly red here, telling us the fuel condition naturally is not as good versus the moisture vegetation shown here. And then we're showing how it varies across years. And so what you're seeing here is 2016 in red, 2010 in green, and 1995 in blue. These are the Gap and Jesucita fires shown here, telling us that these were areas that burned, leaving behind and dead material. And then the blood red conditions here tells us the fuel conditions are very, very poor in 2016. And then finally, the last thing I'll talk about is live fuel moisture. This is a measure of how much moisture is present in a plant. And essentially, the more moisture, the less likely the fire is to ignite and then burn across the landscape. And we can use remote sensing to tell us the general live fuel moisture. A critical level is below 60% live fuel moisture when fires are likely to get very extreme. And what we're showing here is Los Angeles County between 2000 and 2006. Red is the critical color, 70, and yellow is also fairly dangerous conditions. So we can see 2002 and 2004 stood out in June 10th as dangerous. As we progress through the dry season and get into August, the entire landscape has dangerous conditions, but still some years are much less so. And so with that, I'm pleased to have the opportunity to introduce you my research.